very good evening to you. I say good evening. Of course, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central, which is the principal time signature for our biggest demographic, our biggest audience. But it's 9 p.m. where I am, which is near the Bosphorus in Istanbul, just outside Istanbul. Very, very happy to be with you, broadcasting from here. I've been situated here for about 2 weeks, and I'll be here for a little while longer before return to Mexico. The next Lazarus Symposium, I think I'll be broadcasting from Bucharest. Very, very excited today to be starting with, and I will just show you that slide, three of the more remarkable minds on our planet. Dan Winter needs no introduction to my audience. Michael Salla. I've been so excited about meeting this iconic man for many years. I'm a huge fan of his. And Robert Potter, similarly, very, very fascinating man, a Venusian contactee. Between Michael Salla, Dan Winter, and Robert Potter, I think we're going to get a bit of an education on cosmogenesis, let's put it that way. And the seminal story of humankind, which is, in the simplest possible terms, who the fuck are we? Where do we issue from? What's it all about? Where does it lead? And I'm not going to attempt to answer those abstruse questions myself, but let me just, by way of introduction, explain that we're kicking off today with Alien Contact, The Reckoning. And this is really laying out the most relevant information in this sphere of inquiry, which is contact. Why are they here? What do they want us to know? Who are they? And what can we expect to happen now and into the future? To those of you who listen to my ramblings, you will know that at the outset or the onset of COVIDiocy, I did do a midnight broadcast with Robert David Steele. And he asked me on day one of the lockdown, what do you believe this is about? We were, all of us who were relatively conscious and have a pulse, we were cognizant of the fact that something extraordinary and phenomenological was about to occur planetarily, that all governments don't move into lockstep, and the entire planetary sphere of psycho-intellectualism moves into a lockstep, which is, getting people off the streets, locked into their homes for a year, and vaccine programs coming down the pike, and all that bedevilment that then we witnessed. What was that all about? Where was that taking us? I did say to Steele on that broadcast, this is genetic interventionism. This is clearly to do with forcing humanity into a corner against the wall by force, by brute force, because the tiptoe tyranny had not actually worked over aeons. And this was a last dastardly card by the them, remembering at all times that the them can only ever be an unresolved aspect of you and I. And that, for me, is the seminal piece, because until or unless we can absolve a reality with all its horrors and absolve it within the atom seed of our own consciousness, we're certainly not going to transmute or transcend anything. So that, I hope, sets something of the tone of this conversation. Let me just explain my guests here. Robert Potter is a physical contactee of the Venusians. You'll meet him in a moment, and the Pleiadians. And he's been researching healing and consciousness for over 40 years and has given seminars worldwide, including in Egypt, Japan, Australia, Bolivia, Peru, Canada, China, Austria, and the United States. The iconic Michael Salla is an internationally recognized scholar in international politics, conflict resolution, and U.S. foreign policy. And Dr. Salla has conducted research and fieldwork in ethnic conflicts involving East Timor, Kosovo, Macedonia, and Sri Lanka. He's been awarded significant financial grants from the United States Institute of Peace and the Ford Foundation for Peacemaking Initiatives involving mid to high level participants from the East Timor conflict. He's a producer known for The Cosmic Secret of 2019, The Day Before Disclosure 2010, and Ancient Aliens 2009. And Dr. Salla is more popularly known as a pioneer in the development of exopolitics, which is studying and writing several books about the main actors, institutions, and political processes associated with the extraterrestrial life. Our audience finally know and love Dan Winter well, but I think that a review of his extensive experience is warranted, as his background is as multifaceted as his viewpoint, and is only courtesy of me having a long-standing friendship with his better half that he appears on my screen, because he's a man who is way above my pay grade, but I do regard him as a beloved friend of many years. But understand about Dan that he's got an extraordinary background. After graduating with honors from the University of Detroit, he pursued graduate studies in psychophysiology and the origin of languages. And he's worked as a systems analyst with IBM, an industrial metallurgist, and a crystallographer. He's undertaken many diverse studies, from quantum physics to modeling at the MIT Space Lab to developing the early biofeedback prototype equipment as Dr. Albert Axe's protege. And Dan draws on many sources, including science, mythology, popular culture, and even channeled information, looking for ideas always about the deep connectedness of all things and how the profound nature of our oneness can be approached from architecture, art, math, biology, electronics, computers, or myth. Please welcome Robert Potter. Good to see you, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Sacha. It's an honor to be here with these esteemed guests and to share the information and the truth that we're not alone, never have been alone, and never will be alone. Let me just bring
the other guests in. Robert, just hang on one second there. Dan, good to see you. You'll need to unmute there, Dan. Forgive me. Happy to see you. Dan, you might want to unmute your microphone. He's not as clever as I made out, folks.